So in the last video, we finished off having added some structure. We're nearly ready to move on to styling the page, but the first thing we want to go through is just adding in an iframe with the video path in. So using an embed code basically. So in the XML file, you will notice in my example, I've got a tag called video, and inside of the video, I have a path. It's an embed code rather than a path directly to the YouTube player. So the difference being that it's got the keyword embed here, / and then the video key. So that's all we really need to be able to embed a video, is to have access to that. So in the same way, in our previous example, we added an image tag, an image path, and set the attribute, and then added that to the section. We are then also going to do the same thing for the video. So we can just put var new video. It's good to follow or create and then follow your own conventions. Consistency is the key. We've got create element, then inverse commas iframe. There we go. And the video path is going to equal pretty much the same as this, except the tag name is video. All lowercase, I believe, in my XML file. Well, it should be anyway. XML tags should all be lowercase for them to be validated as well formed. So the same thing, we're accessing the value I, which will increment. So it'll be a number from 0, 1, 2, 3, however many is inside of the file. And I then want to append this child to a new section. And before I really do anything else, I will just actually save that as a branch of that file. So I'll return that to where it was before. Upload. I won't take any dependents. It's the browser, and there we go. Okay. So let's just have a quick look and see what's going on there. Obviously, I've added the iframe, but I've not actually set the attribute yet. So what we've got going on in there is a document but nothing in it, just a blank document, and that's why it's showing blank. So that'd be why it's not quite worked. And the line that we were missing is this one here, where we set the attribute. So that's before we append the child, really. And here it is. Source or H reference and video path. Save that. Oh, yes, of course. It doesn't help when we're setting new image rather than new video attribute. That's one of the problems with copy and pasting. But it's good to work through these. So that you can see some of the common mistakes that you can make readily. Okay, so there you can see it's worked. Now I can play it. In this one, it's just a music video. And so the key was, after copying and pasting new image, I should have changed it to new video. and what we're looking for is source rather than H reference as I was using previously. And in doing that, we've then got the YouTube video in an iframe, we've got the image, we've got the header. And moving from there, really all we've got to do is style it. And so let's just have a quick look at that in the final file. So in the final file, I've got some styling at the start. So you can see I've got the same div ID, I've got the same script roughly. I've added an iframe, an image path, set the attributes. I've also set an attribute of height 480. If one of the values is set, then the other one will auto scale in HTML5. That's very useful. So by setting the height to 480 pixels, I will then therefore get something which is the equivalent to 480p in my page. Now, the rest of the styling takes place in the head tag. So at the top of the document, after my title, I've inserted a style tag. And inside of there, I've referenced the body, any image, any section, any iframe. And I haven't really done anything beyond that. So I've set the body width, which is basically the document width, to 640 pixels. So it's set for a small screen really, but it should display reasonably on most screens up to about a 720 display, and then it might look a little bit small above that. I set the margin auto, so what will happen is it will position that in the center of the page. I've given a background color just to make it stand out a little bit. With the image, I've given it 100% width and set its height to 300 pixels, so that it will scale to fit a specific height and width. However, what I've done is I've used object fit cover to change the way that it looks. So we will have the image as its normal size. However, the box that it will fill will only be 300 pixels tall. So we will only see 300 pixels of that image, but rather than skewing that image, it will just show sort of a cross section of it. And then with the section, a bit of padding around the outsides of 5 pixels just to give it a bit of space, a bit of a background color using RGBA. The difference between RGBA and RGB is RGBA gives you an opacity or transparency value. So at 1, it's fully opaque, and at 0, it's fully transparent. I've then set a border bottom of the color with 3 pixels in weight and to be solid, and I've set the iframe width to 100%. So with the body being 640, the iframe being 100%, what will happen is that with its height being set to 480 pixels, I could set that here or as an attribute as I did previously. It will be 480p essentially. So if we go and look at the page itself, as it is, you can start to see it come together. Obviously, it still needs a bit of work, but you can see that the iframe drops below the image. You can see that the image is 300 pixels tall, and we get a certain section of that image. So this one shows off a little bit better that object fit property. There's a few different values you can use there, and each one of them is a separate section. There we go. And that's it really with this example. The next section we will look at using JSON instead of XML, and that's just ever so slightly different. But JSON is a lot more common than XML these days, and so it's good to have them both.